do like that. Get me in there. Get me in there. I want some.
Whip and release it. Whip, release. Whip.
A lot of Spider-Man 4 concept arts have been, some dude has been changing them and making them actually animated with like bare models, and it's a Vulture fight where he's got like jet engines on his back or whatever, and he's very like a realistic Vulture instead of like an MCU comic Vulture. So something is buzzing right now about
Raimi
Spider-Man
has come
4.
out and said he would absolutely, after doing Strange, he remembered how much he loved the comic book stuff and would absolutely come back to do it.
Tobey Maguire said he'll
Maguire
do it,
would
right?
too.
Yeah.
I just don't know what you would do. I would take it. I would be there day one. I would give you the money.
You can't do what you were going to do for a Spider-Man 4.
No, see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like, you either have to do a bridge movie and bring him on over. It almost would have to be.
It couldn't be a Spider-Man 3 sequel.
No, because who would you use as a bad guy?
Who would you use as a bad guy?
Because right now, Sony's screwing up their bad guy situation so bad, you can't do Vulture because he's probably going to be in MCU right now.
I don't know.
And you've got Kraven, but he's in the other. But is he in the other? I don't know.
And what time period does that take place in? Yeah.
So, like,
we're getting Ezekiel Sims because we know how well that did in Madam Web, and he's going to fight Tobey Maguire.
I'm trying to think, off of all their bad guys, the only one you could probably do...
We haven't gotten a Raimi Electro.
That's true.
But we've already
they're
gotten
setting
Electro
him
now.
So I'm saying you could do a Rhino, since they only gave us a half-hearted one, and he only mentions it in No Way Home that he fought some Russian guy in a rhino suit.
In a mech suit, yeah.
You could now have Tobey Maguire fight that universe. But I'm just trying to think of who has
getting Rhino and Craven, though, which is a different Rhino.
Then you can't do
See
that.
what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it leads us down all these dead ends.
Okay. And in a sequel to No Way Home, just set in the Raimi universe, what would that be?
That's what I'm saying. You could do that. Now he goes home, right? He's home now, and now you got MJ, and he's like, man, I just got sucked in over here, and you're doing a recap of that. But again, who's the bad guy?
Who's the bad guy? Why does he have to be Spider-Man again?
I'm totally fine watching old man Peter have kids to have to struggle to be Spider-Man and be in his late 40s trying to do that.
Can't do Green Goblin. Willem Dafoe's too old, and we just did that in No Way Home.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Can't use Thomas Hayden Church because we just wrapped up
And he's already
his story
said he might be.
fucking...
He's probably going to be in it. If he is, he'll probably be like from the comic where he doesn't. Alien from No Way Home where he doesn't hate Spider-Man anymore.
Peter, it's me, Flint Marco.
Kind of maybe teams up with them.
Right.
at
Okay.
some
So
point.
now that's another bad guy off the list, and now he's a good guy. So where do you go?
But now it's Spider-Man and Sandman versus who's powerful enough to take on both of them.
Now we're even back into the even worse boat than we were just.
Hall Mysterio. You know,
you could
Bruce
do
Campbell Mysterio was supposed to be Mysterio.
He was supposed to be Mysterio. But then again, it's what I mean. Like you get real dicey because there's all the talk about they haven't finished with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like if he wanted to come back, they'd let him come back.
And did the fourth movie, they planned on all that happening?
There was rumors that he was going to be in the fourth movie.
He arrests Mysterio or whatever at the beginning, like on the concept art for Raimi Spider-Man 4.
He wasn't, yeah. Well, even in MCU, they were saying in No Way Home that they were going to have Jake Gyllenhaal didn't die because he's Mysterio, and he was the one that actually leaked the tapes again. Not after he died, but like he's the one that's been pulling the strings.
Right.
And they changed that on the concept. So
Tobey Maguire is too old, so you have to...
It's got to be an old Peter story.
It has to be after No Way Home.
Has to be.
It has to be either... what he's doing before he gets sucked in, which is, probably nothing, or right after he goes back.
Which, again, I'm totally cool seeing that, but then, again, you fixed a bunch of villains.
Yeah.
You're using every other popular villain.
We're also saying, who would be fun enough? Because, Chameleon, who's also going to be in the Kraven fucking movie, that would be pretty boring to watch him just fight a dude who can change his face, right? Can't do Vulture because we just did Michael Keaton as Vulture. Can't do Morbius because he's a hero now. Can't do Venom because he's a hero now.
And Sony and Feige are negotiating right now because MCU wants to end the multiverse stuff.
Sure.
Because obviously, not just from a bad reception, but from a story point, it's getting
Secret
ready to
Wars.
wrap up.
Yeah.
And Sony's like, yeah, but we need to keep that at least one of the portals open so that we can do changes of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So if that ends up being the case, then I'd feel like you would almost have to take the approach of following him back into his universe and then doing a old man Parker story. But again, it just keeps leading you back to what is he going
to fight that Sony isn't already doing?
So you could set up Miles Morales in that universe and bring him over into the MCU. But again, who is he fighting?
Who is he fighting? What's his bad guy?
So then you're going to have to start going, okay, then we need to bring Morbius over and start tying that to that.
But I don't want to see him fight Jared Leto, Morbius.
But then they'd have to team up anyway.
And Morbius is always he's a good guy, like in the cartoon. He doesn't hate Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He even always
He just wants to bang Felicia.
Felicia.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm all for
He's
it.
gonna fight Shocker. Like,
Get back here, Shocker!
right? Like,
That's what I'm for it if they can make it a story that makes sense.
yeah.
You're gonna have to you're gonna have to forget the Andrew Garfield. One of them has to go away.
One of them has to go.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna keep
Unless
Maguire
you're
because he's
bringing them
older,
both back in as clones in the Clone
Right.
Saga MCU thing, which they're not gonna fucking do. So.
no, I have a feeling that we might see Maguire and Deadpool, and that's where they're gonna touch on him being like probably just got dropped back off and from No Way
Right.
Home, and then the portal's gonna open and here comes Deadpool,
Right.
And he's gonna be like, gee, what?
God damn
now?
it. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. Spider-Man and Deadpool do have a lot, but then they got to talk to Sony. You know? They can't use Spider-Man unless they have conversations with Sony, and I don't think Ryan Reynolds wants to call up fucking Sony
No, but
SAS
that could be a
Lab,
Feige power move.
That's true.
You want to keep using this and this and this, well, then we want this to happen.
Well, then we want this to happen. Yeah, yeah.
Because that's
I don't
lead
think
us into go
you,
ahead.
you definitely cannot pick up where they were going to if Spider-Man 4 had happened. That Spider-Man 4 that like was going to come out needs to have already happened in that universe without us
you
having
could keep
seen
the
it.
beginning. You could keep that universe, have Bruce Campbell be Mysterio being
that'd be
arrested.
fun.
You could start
That'd
the
be
movie
fun.
that
He's
way.
like throwing him in jail.
Right.
Yeah. He's been dogging him for all these years, you know, and like dodging him.
Because that's the great capper to that joke from the trilogy where he's
Right.
always working where Peter needs to be.
Right.
Always.
Right. Yeah.
But again, it always leads us back to what bad guy.
And what bad guy is he going to fight? Yeah. Because Sony's using them all.
You'd have to come borrow him again and suck him out of that universe and bring him over here. Now he's got to help everybody else fight the bigger bad guy. That's the only thing that makes sense,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And you have Tom Holland.
You have Tom Holland. Yeah. Who's already fighting his
But he's
bad
also
guys.
too young to introduce Miles
Miles.
Morales. So then you
Ah.
have to have Tobey Maguire come back
Yeah.
to introduce. I think as much
Yeah.
as people don't want it, you got to go ahead and send Holland into the Sonyverse.
You have
Keep
to.
him there. Bring Maguire over. Let him be Old Man Parker. Introduce Miles. And then you got Maguire for 2 or 3 more movies. Kill him off and roll with Miles Morales. And then that solves the problem.
Yeah. It does solve it.
You kill him in Secret Wars, which is the rumor that we'll finish this with, is Hugh Jackman has now said that he will absolutely come back and do another Wolverine again, but it won't be unless it's Secret Wars, and he wants everyone to be there. That was in the Avengers movie.
Including Robert Downey Jr., who is now
Pretending
on
that he hates Marvel, which I honestly really think it's to throw people off. He's a smart guy. He's saying what people want to hear. Oh, yeah, see, the movies aren't popular right now. Then he'll come back to save the comic book genre. He's not stupid. Oh, hey, Iron Man's in this one. It's good.
Robert Downey Jr. is back. Chris Evans is back.
It writes itself.
Chris Hemsworth never left
Yeah,
for some
Scarlett
reason.
Johansson back.
Mark
They'll-
Ruffalo never left for some reason.
They'll talk every single Dave Bautista came out and
Batista.
said he's not done with the MCU. He wants to come back and play a bad guy. He doesn't want to be Drax
okay.
anymore. He wants to
Yeah.
be recast as a bad guy.
Yeah, that'll work.
But that
Rhino.
means-
Cast him as Rhino. Put him in a mech suit
But
at the end of
actually,
Amazing
he wouldn't be a
Spider-Man. He
bad-
won't be a bad Rhino.
But that means he would totally be down for the paycheck to come back and be Drax for 5 minutes in Secret Wars.
In Secret Wars,
if he's willing to come back and be a bad guy, hey,
be
we
like,
need you to make up for one day so you can step on and get blasted.
Right.
Or whatever.
it'll be like Infinity War,
Mhm.
you know, where it's like everyone's in it, but they have like a collective screen time of 3 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, look in the background. There's... Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you telling me you won't show up in the volume for a day in Drax makeup, you know? Yeah. Fucking money. Yeah. Yeah.
Spider-Man 4. So keep an ear out for it. I have a feeling something will get announced. There's all negotiations right now. That's pretty much what's going on
It's just
between
like-
Marvel and Sony.
Right. We're right, though. It's like, what will you do unless you are creating a movie Spider-Man villain
The only
from
good-
nothing, which please don't.
Not
yeah,
Sony.
No.
The only
no.
good news of all this is that because Madam Web was so bad and exploded, they probably almost have to pivot back to what worked.
Do a course
They
correction.
have to.
Yeah.
Go back to the ones that were making us $1 billion. Go back to there.
Yeah, not 20 million, and we're like, yay, people hate it. We love that you hate it. Yeah, Spider-Man 4. I was doing that. That's like the fucking Smash Bros. Theme song. It's all the same. This is
So-
one of the first DreamWorks movies where it's like back to normal DreamWorks animation. Like we had Puss in Boots, Ruby Gillman even looked a little different. Trolls has their own.
Trolls has their own kind of vibe. This looks like they went back to the Kung Fu Panda is one of the most colorful.
Yeah.
Like I used to
Vibrant.
point to that and go, "This is better than Pixar back then."
Oh my God,
the way
yeah.
they did like 3
Yep.
and the firework fighting in 2 and all of this stuff.